Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions, 4 p.m. BST on a Thursday, joined by Liran Hirschkorn Norm Farar, and I'm sure Brandon Young will be flying down the motorway somewhere in Miami to get to his office. Welcome to the show, guys. How you been? Starting with you, Liran.
Been great. Working, and super excited just to see. I mean, so much growth in e-commerce in the last year and just in the last few months, and kind of like what I'm seeing happening in the space is super exciting. You know, I was looking at to interject a little bit. I was looking at somebody that came to me to look at their PPC, and you know, a few weeks ago, right? And like, this is a product that I would never tell someone to launch like a couple years ago, right? Like, and I'm seeing more and more products this year that people are launching. I'm like, how the hell is this product making money? It's like a Me Too commodity product that like, you know, this guy launched just like a good listing, you know, and like decent launch, and like this like plunger selling $10,000 a month. Like, I would, you know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of products I'm seeing this year. And I mean, I guess it's super exciting just to see, like, it feels like it's 2012, you know, on Amazon. So I think that's exciting.
Well, there's obviously still, it's in the niches. There's still room for growth. Brandon, welcome to the show. Are you growing a beard there, and the hair's growing out? Is this a new look you're expecting?
I haven't had time to deal with any of this. I have no idea what's even happening.
Yeah. Welcome to the show.
He doesn't even know he didn't shave.
Yeah, I didn't even notice until you said it.
And welcome to you, Norm. Still smashing out the shows 5 days a week. I'll see. How's all that going?
You know what? I got to give it to you. Podcasts are hard. They're tough, you know, and coming up with new content, keeping them alive, you know, just, I got to give it to you. And you do a great job with your podcast, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah. But yeah, I always say it's consistency. And the thing is, you're not going to always do, like, you can't, if you're out 5 days a week. I've got Isabella installed on a Monday now, which is fantastic. I do the other 3 up till Thursday. There are days when I'm like, where am I going to pull this content out of my backside? And it's just like something will come to you. I drop a message, and then 4 o'clock we go live and there is a show. I know we pre-planned this one in advance, but you get people that drop out. It's Q4, everyone's busy, but the show's got to go on. I've been lucky enough not to be left here on my own, you know, promoting the show. We've got a round table and I'm the only one who showed up. But no, it's tough. It's very rewarding. Liran, how's it going with your podcast?
The question was, how's it going with podcast?
Yeah, you're up past 50 now, your new one, aren't you?
60? Yeah, I think 66 or something like that. You know, it's something I really love to do. And one of the things that keeps me going is once in a while I get a random message, right? I'm sure all of us here get random messages from people like, hey, I really enjoy your content. I really enjoyed when you share this. And like, from just like a feel good standpoint, like that, you know, like makes me want to go, okay, let me do another episode. Let me get on and talk about this. And to me, like, it's a amazing medium, because if you think about your listener count, right? Like literally I mean, you're doing this every day, Norm and whatever, like you have the same as a conference stage, right? Like every time you get on a mic or you put something out there. And to me, that's like, it's an incredible way to like connect with an audience, especially that's like listening over and over again, and build relationships and goodwill and trust, and then take all their money and services. No, I'm just kidding.
Start selling them 10, 15 grand courses.
But I mean, I love doing it. And, you know, for me, like, I don't do it like on a schedule, you know, basically like I do it when I feel like there's somebody good to talk to, or like, you know, once in a while, just, you know, go on my phone, record something and put it out, because I feel like it's good, like timely thing. I've seen Brandon do all of you guys do the same kind of stuff, right? Like, you know, when stuff comes out. So I just think it's an awesome medium, and it doesn't require, I mean, from what like Norm said, as far as work, the one thing I like about the podcast, as opposed to like why I don't run like a YouTube channel, is like, I don't want to spend hours or like working on editing and like lighting and like all this stuff. I can literally record it on my phone and I put it out in 5 minutes, and that's kind of what
it's a tough ask to try and do a huge amount of content without a team on a producing for YouTube. It's a lot of work, and especially with the obviously tagging and seeding the content to promote it, to build the audience. That's a huge amount of work to do. But like you said, with the podcast, it's like, that's why I don't have intros, outros, or anything. It just goes out the door raw. If it didn't, I couldn't keep up with doing it because it would just take up too much of the time. I've got, like you guys, like we all have, we have businesses to run. This is fun though. Do you know what I mean? It motivates me and stuff like that.
And I would say, you know, for anybody out there that's building any business, e-commerce or any business that you're building, a podcast is like a great way to target like a niche audience and like differentiate yourself. You know, if you're selling outdoor gear, like, you know, do the gear guy whatever, right? Like you can pick a podcast on anything and build an audience and tie that into, you know, and you have every right to promote something, right? You're giving a lot of value through it. And if you're good at weaving in, like, you know, value, like, you know, I go by Gary V's like jab, 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 right hook, right? Like you can go and do 10 podcasts and then go ask for like, hey, go to this link because you build trust and value with an audience. I think it's super powerful.
Yeah, it's all down to balance, isn't it? You just got to get the right balance for it. Okay, so we talked enough about podcasts. 5 minutes in, let's get into the shizzle. Starting with you, Brendan, what observations are you seeing over the last few weeks in Q4?
Yeah, it's really interesting. We're in the middle of a million launches, it seems like. Balancing the stock restrictions has been challenging. Check-in times, how to best ship to Amazon, trying to balance with some merchant fulfilled, but not as successfully. Warehousing, logistics, it's all a big challenge this year. So for us, I think it's navigating all of that has been the biggest issue for us because we want to make sure we're coming up on, you know, Black Friday and Cyber Monday and then the rest of the season. And if you just launched a product in the last 7 to 14 days, you're in a position where you might not have been able to send in more than 200 units. And now we've hit that point where a lot of our products are getting increased to maybe 700. But what reality is, we were hoping Amazon would realize, hey, these are toys. Velocity is going to be 10 times as much as normal. So a product that we normally sell 20 a day is going to be 200 a day. So what's 700 units? It's 2 or 3 days, right? Like it's nothing. So it's a huge challenge. We have tons of inventory sitting at warehouses, like waiting to be shipped in. And we're figuring out like we're sending half trucks as truckloads just because it checks in faster. We're just trying to navigate a lot of the logistics for it. And we're hoping that the velocity increases will come faster and faster and we'll be able to get it there and checked in. But we're not too confident in what Amazon's facing with regards to check-in times and their manual labor. I think that they're having a lot of issues.
Oh, cool. Anything else you want to add before I move over to Norm?
No, I mean, that's it. I think it's such an amazing opportunity regardless. Like as down as I am on all of that, I think Amazon is still by far the best opportunity of any business in the world. And I would recommend it to literally everyone I meet ever.
Yeah. I mean, look, you when you come on, you're normally a lot more sprightly. You look, if you don't mind me saying, you look tired. You look like you've been through the mill with running. Are you getting some downtime in? I'm being in the polite.
I went to take a nap last night and didn't wake up again.
Oh, that's good.
I got a little bit more sleep. Now the problem has been that my team just isn't big enough to handle the amount of launches that we're having, and so I'm just trying to pick up the slack. And you know, we've got to grow the team a little bit more on our end. So I don't expect us to ever be in a position where we're launching 32 products inside of 14 days ever again. Like I hope not. But at the same time, like I probably need, instead of 12 employees, probably 20, and I'll be in a much better position. So this is just that time of year. I'll have, in a couple of weeks, I'll be able to relax a little bit more.
Yeah, good.
Stay healthy. Not in the middle.
Yeah, but stay healthy. Norm, what's been going on with you? What's some observations from you?
Probably the biggest thing are delivery pickup, or just pickups. We've been waiting on this one product. You know, Brandon, you were just talking about the IPI restrictions. We monitor these things very tight. Launched a new product about 2 months ago. Got it up to the point where it got past the 200, got up to 750, was really doing well. The momentum was killing it. Keywords were ranked. And then we're trying to get a pickup. And this is going on 2.5, 3 weeks now for the pickup. And because, I'm going to tell you a trick in a minute, but because it's on pallets, it's going to sit at Amazon. I know it's going to sit on Amazon. We're going to miss Black Friday. And
You can't send LTL. Don't send anything LTL.
no, that's what I was just going to say. But we have to. It's bottles and liquid. So
you can send LTL. Like, I mean, you can send it palletized, but you have to book a full truckload. Even if you're only putting 4 pallets on the truck, it'll check in the same day. And so you just eat the cost. Like, that's the only way to really do it. I mean, that's what we figured out. We had our logistics company screw us. We had a truckload booked for us. He has another client who had a truckload booked but only had 10 pallets. So he took his 10 pallets, canceled his truckload, and then put his 10 pallets on us and left our extra 10 pallets that we hadn't originally booked, but we knew we had a truckload. So like the day before the truck gets there, we tell him which other 10 pallets we want. He leaves our 10 pallets out and sends them LTL. This is a month ago now. So we end up in a position where those took 3.5 weeks to check in, those 10 pallets. And we were out of stock for some of our best sellers. But the truck, everything that made it on the truck checked in within 3 days.
interesting. So I was going to say different. I got to check that out. But for smaller sellers that aren't even shipping LTL, one of the things that you can do, or if you have a pallet, let's say you have a pallet or 2 and you're shipping it into Amazon. Kevin King told me this trick months ago, and oh my gosh, I owe him more than Kobe steak, Danny.
Yeah, I can't keep up with 750-pound steaks, mate.
It was ship UPS ground with freight costs, and you will get the product into Amazon within days. It is magic.
You're checking UPS right away, but not the third-party logistics companies.
Right, right.
Third-party truckers, they're not. Like, if it's a partner, then what it does is your LTL shipment will go to the hub, wait for an appointment for a couple weeks, and then it'll go to Amazon, and it still might take weeks for it to check in.
Yeah, and the other, going back to the IPI restrictions, back in July, we were talking about, I talked about it on here, about making sure that your inventory planning, your strategy changes right now, because it's not like it was any other year. First of all, we didn't know when Prime Day was going to be. We didn't know, like we knew Black Friday. We didn't know how sellers were going to act. We didn't know if there was going to be, economics, what was happening. But we were telling people in July, book for now. And if you would have done it, and the system that we were telling people, I don't know if anybody else is doing this, but if we used to have 2,000 units that we would order, we would have 1,000 units in the 3PL, 1,000 units at Amazon. Trigger point might be 500 units. Then they would start to switch over. But we would renegotiate with the supplier to have 2,000 in stock at the 3PL, either free, and that has happened, or a 20% discount. But usually when you're doing that and you're doing the other orders, like like 4,000 units instead of 2,000, your price came down. And for the most part, we were able to work out terms. So you're only paying the 20% deposit. Once they ship those 20, like once the product went from 3PL over to Amazon, then this was all perpetual. The inventory would ship back over to the 3PL, and another order would go into Amazon. You won't run out of inventory. And it was that far out that the clients that listened to that worked. The ones that waited, it happened. I can tell you it would be the same client year after year after year that does the same thing. It just, now they're paying because the product is either stuck or we can't get it into Amazon, but that was some of the challenges that we've been facing.
Cool. Liran, just before we get to you, just going to read out some of the comments and then we'll get you in. Yari says hello. Yelchin is here, says hi. Alan says, so many superstars in one show. Nice to see you, lads, and thank you for your time. Henrietta says, my favorite people on the screen. This is all very narcissistic, reading out all these great comments about us.
Keep it coming.
Keep them coming, he says, yeah. Good morning, sir. There's a great deal of people are worried about their taxes when it comes to Amazon and SBA. My question is, what do we do about healthcare? I'll come back to the questions after. Just reading out, let you know that we're...
Don't get sick.
Yeah, do not get sick. That's a good one. Hey, bearded ones from Side B. Elton says, hey, gents, nice to see you. Side B says, I prefer to hijack your podcast, which he does. Victor says, the 4 thought leaders in the space whom I have the most respect for. Thank you, everyone, for the beautiful comments. They're lovely. We won't read out the nasty ones. Henrietta says, why do we tolerate Jeff, with a smiley face? Alan says, do you foresee Amazon would extend their current limitations past Q1? We'll answer all those stuff together. Side B is saying we're just limping our way through. Crimbo now focused on Q1 and 4. Again, this is going to come back. I'll come back to you guys on that stuff. Truckloads, I'm finding that. Brandon, Alan said, great tip there. Owen says, hi lads, good to see you. All the best from Seaside. Owen. The best thing I've done this year is move 3PL and less than an hour drive from me. It's not rocket surgeon, so I think rocket scientist, but it's so nice that I can fill up my pickup truck and get them there one day. Facebook user says, hey guys, and puts his hands up. So we probably have a question. Liran, let's get to you and then we'll come back and answer these questions. What have you been seeing in Q4?
I've been seeing, we just launched a new product, and it was an account that was like purchased from somebody else. I only had like 50 ratings on it, but launched this product, shipped some stock into FBA. We purposely didn't ship all the stock to FBA because we knew about like the check-in times and all the things, and it's definitely something you want to be smart about now with like how you handle your inventory, from deciding to send into FBA to merchant fulfill. But this product went live. So this account, like, we didn't have the buy box, merchant fulfilled. The FBA, we sent FBA inventory and it shows like didn't get checked in for a little bit of time. No buy box, no reviews, can't run ads because don't have the buy box, and was selling, like 5 to 10 units a day without anything really, just putting this like product up. It's kind of like the right product at the right time. I'll actually give you a hint. It's an iPhone 12 accessory. So there's like, basically this is one of those things where if you got the speed to launch, like you kind of have a chance to win. Not cases though. Then we finally got stock checked into FBA, and like in a day sold like 40 units, and then went out of inventory on the stock that's there, and now have more in, and back to no buy box. But I'm just seeing like, tremendous amount of opportunity. It'll be interesting to see. I haven't seen sort of like this, Amazon has sort of pushed like people to shop early for the holiday. I haven't seen those spikes yet, or Amazon being successful in changing the consumer behavior. That Black Friday is sort of the psychological start to the holiday shopping season. So I do think that the next month will be massive, and it'll be interesting to see if Amazon can handle it. And I think having that merchant fulfilled ability, I saw somebody who posted something about like Prime Day data from vendor, and how vendors who had merchant fulfilled on the listing suddenly got the buy box at the same price as Amazon, and Amazon gave it preference because they're essentially outsourcing the fulfillment, not to have to handle it, as opposed to them doing it. So I think having that merchant fulfilled capability will be super important, and I think it'll be crazy because I think there's been somewhat of an uptick, but not the uptick maybe Amazon wanted to have with like driving like early holiday shopping. So my prediction is that also this next week will be slow because I think there'll be a lot of people browsing, ahead of Black Friday, and then this like what's called like Cyber 5 will be I think probably one of the biggest in or the biggest in Amazon's history from Black Friday to Cyber Monday. Some strategic stuff we're doing. We're raising budgets obviously on PPC ahead of on Thursday, and we're also what we're kind of doing, because we use software for like bid optimization, is we're actually going to pull back on like target ACOS after Monday on Tuesday, because what happens if you're using software for PPC is like it's going to see these amazing conversions right from Black Friday to Cyber Monday. Based on those amazing conversions, it's going to raise your bids, expecting those conversions to continue, but it doesn't on Tuesday. It's not going to continue, right? And the software tools don't know that. So what you should be doing is probably pulling back like 10 to 15% of whatever your target ACOS is in a software tool. If you have it set to 30%, bring it down to like 25% after, so that your bids come down to match the the real conversion rates that are probably going to happen that software doesn't know. So it's just a tip if you're using software for PPC management.
Yeah, I think the main thing we've seen, well, there's a few things, but one of the standout things for me is when people's listings are going down, not just clients, but other people in the community. Listings are going down. They're running a listings report to look to see if it's stuff with keywords, and it's not. But they're not realizing this is happening, connecting markets. I won't go into the protocol, but basically, people, instead of, if you've got brand registry in the US and it limits any opportunity to do that, but then what I'd just say to people is just go and look in Canada and Mexico that you don't have your listing set up there because that's connected to your US account. And so when you run the listings report in the US, but you're still not getting up, it's important to check that someone else hasn't set them up with that brand registry in the other markets. So I've seen a bit of that happening. I'm seeing a rash of customer review policy violations coming up as well, but without the suspension of the account. And so just jumping on the chat is a good way, and doing a screen grab so that you've got that for the performance team as well.
Dan, what is your guys' opinion now? Let's say like there's more stuff on these, like people getting, taken down for like caps and bullets, for warranties, for like certain words that are not. Would you say would you recommend to everyone to change their bullets if they have that all caps in the beginning? It
depends on the category. Like I've seen it. So this has been going around for a while, right? So it's been all on the Facebook groups and so I've only seen a few things from people testing as well. And let me just pull it up here. I'll give you an example. Where is it? So this was sent to me the other day because I was asked by a client about changing this, but I hadn't seen enough of it. Whereas it says, heads up, I saw people posting about listings taken down in capital letters in the bullets at the start of a classic ASM way of everyone does other than the mainstream brands. I left mine as I do with the Unicode and thought the system couldn't read it. Yesterday lost my bestseller and the notification came through saying capital letters at the start of the bullets. So this one actually got a notification for it. This tells me Amazon can pick you up a Unicode and they'll have hundreds of listings to change ASAP. Massive pain, but better than being down for 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like you don't want to be down in Q4 and you see these random suspensions of people and like taking them anywhere from 4 to 10 days, 14 days to get on. And Andy Slamans posted in my group. He said, I think he lost like a couple $100,000 in sales from just being down 2 weeks on a product because of bullets, right? So like, even though it's not happening in mass, I feel like it's time to just go in and change it and not to take the risk. And I don't know what you've seen, Brandon.
But if I just finish off this bit here, what it said, so I'll come round to it. The reason what triggered me for it, because people talked about it, but it's not until you get an Amazon policy, which I'll get into in a sec, says I've checked competitors in this super competitive category, and the only ones that are live don't have capitals in their bullets. Amazon is slowly sweeping the category by category, likely most popular products in the most popular categories first. And then it goes on to say, please review Amazon policy regarding product detail pages. Detail page needing corrections, attribution correction, bullet points, detected inaccurate or inappropriate content, capital letters. So that's an actual official message, but I've only seen one of those. So we can all jump around, like we all do tests and we have our observations. I'm not going to go around and say to dozens of clients, go and change everything now on a whim. That's the only bit of data I got, but it's also worth considering if that is the case coming through. If they are sweeping, go for it, but it's on your own back, What else have we got here? We want to get back to the questions, don't we? Sorry, I went off on a ramble. Let's have a look. Here we go. Do you guys think at the beginning of January 2020, Amazon removed the 200 inventory limits? Brandon?
I really think it depends how bad COVID gets again.
Yeah.
So I think that with them, it's a matter of they had some absurd amount of workers that tested positive that they kind of just kept on the low until, you know, news came out. I guess it was like, do you guys remember how many it was? Like 20 or 30 or 40,000 employees got tested positive. It was an insane amount. Like it was a lot. So I think that was one of the main reasons that they've had to restrict their employment and the space that people work in, and they're trying to put in protocols. So I think that they might be restricted with how many more people they can bring on, the health of those workers. You know, it really depends where the centers are. COVID is really spreading throughout the U.S. in almost every state now. Whereas before, when we first locked down, it was pretty isolated. There were small cases here and there, and that's partly what led to people thinking that the lockdown was bullshit and we didn't need to do it anyway, is because there were certain areas where they had like 4 positive tests that locked down, and people were like, oh, there's no danger, why are we locking down? And they just don't understand, like, if they'd stayed open, like, it would have gone from 4 to 4,000 to 40,000, right? And kind of like now everyone's lifting all the restrictions, now it is 40,000, and now it's going to be 400,000. And so I think areas are a lot more vulnerable. I think we're in a position where the virus is likely going to keep spreading. If Biden ends up winning the election, which it looks like he is, then I think we're going to have some kind of lockdown with stimulus checks and forgiveness from banks and all these things, which, you know, ultimately, like, if you get extra money than you would normally get from working, and then you don't have a mortgage payment, then you have extra cash to spend, and that's what happened last time. So I expect people to shop more at that time. So I think spending will go up. But I don't think that the restrictions on Amazon's side will be lifted, because they're still going to have the same difficulties with keeping employees safe, with having employees manned and enough staff to handle the influx of extra inventory. Demand might not go down that much from Q4. I think, like, it won't be as insane. Like, if you're in toys and it goes up to 10 times or 15 times the norm, I don't think it's going to pull back to yesterday's numbers. I think it'll still be up, and I think e-commerce as a whole will continue to be up moving forward. We've just accelerated this trend of retail stores dying and e-commerce becoming more of a percentage of buyer habits in the United States. We're still way behind most of the world with regards to the percentage of products that we buy online as Americans. And a lot of people don't realize that. Mm-hmm. Look at China, it's something like 60 or 70%. And here it's 20 or 30%. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's a much smaller percentage. So we have a long way to go. If you think that a lot of people shop online now, we're not even close to where the market will be in 2 or 3 or 4 years. But this COVID has done nothing but accelerate that, and people are getting more comfortable with shopping online. So, but I think restrictions are going to stay in place. We're going to have to figure out. I think Amazon might start to lift those restrictions based more on the IPI score. Hopefully they start to lift it based on your other scores that they find a way, or they make the IPI score more intuitive. Like for an 8-figure seller, the reason, like, there's no sense that I have a 200 limit for a new ASIN when I've proven over and over again that the majority of my products are successful and I make a lot of money for Amazon. Why do I have the same restriction as a new seller that just started selling on Amazon last week? It doesn't make sense. So hopefully they revisit it, but I don't think that for most sellers it will be lifted.
In my opinion, like, there's no, I mean, why would Amazon lift restrictions on new ASINs, right? They're unproven. It's taking up storage in the warehouse. Like, they don't look at it like, hey, you need 1,000 units to launch properly. Like, it's not how Amazon views it, and they don't want to.
I think it should be based on niche, right? Like, certain niches you do need more than 200 units, obviously. Like sending in 3 or 4 days of inventory for a good product.
But it's a new product. But we're talking about new products, right? So, like, Amazon doesn't want to become your storage place if a product doesn't sell. If a new product is unproven, to me, it makes sense that Amazon would limit that until, like you said, it proves itself off the sales of that product to open up, more. What I've seen is generally, like, every Monday they seem to open up, right, on these new products, like based on your sales. After a couple of weeks, they open up more.
Yeah, it's like 2 weeks that Monday. But so, I mean, we're trying to launch on like Friday so that it's like 10 days instead of the full 14, right? Something like that. But the problem is, yeah, they don't understand the damage that it does when you need the consistency through the honeymoon period. And if it takes 2 weeks to get more inventory in, then you've lost most of your honeymoon period.
Right.
Now you've built up a lot of negative history through your honeymoon period. And so like you lose keywords that you normally would have just been crushing. Amazon does a lot about their own.
They don't care.
Policies don't understand a lot about their own algorithm and how ranking works. And so that's the unfortunate nature, is that they don't understand that it's to the detriment of the sellers. It's to the detriment of themselves. Because if I launch a good product that sells a lot and I offer great service with a high quality product, then I'm going to make them money too. That's why I think like they need to revisit how they apply the restrictions based on the sellers.
I mean, in an ideal world, right? Amazon AI would recognize like, hey, Brandon Young, good account, sells a lot. Let him, launch his new product successfully. His limit should be better than Joe Schmo, launched 5 products in the last 6 months, and failed at every single one.
And the reality is it's the opposite, right? Because I launched a lot of products in the last like 14 days, then my IPI score was shit because I have a lot of inventory that's considered dead inventory, even though I'm just waiting to launch it, right? So I've got like 4,000 units sitting on the sidelines that I'm accumulating amongst a lot of these products, and they're thinking that it's what do they call it? Not dead inventory, but they have the if you go up, stranded. So they stranded inventory, so they think that my account is not performing well. Meanwhile, I'm just waiting for the right time to launch.
Right.
Enough units checked in and moving it around, right? So like I'm in a position where my IPI score is lower than it should be if they knew how to make sense of it. But a machine isn't capable of figuring that out.
Indeed. Do you want to, Norm, you got anything you'd like to add?
I've been if the product starts to move right off the bat, it takes a week-ish before you start to see the IPI or the restrictions start to loosen up a bit. But you guys were talking about every Monday. I'm looking at it as around the second week in like 10 to 14 days, it could almost change daily depending on the sales. And it doesn't take that long once you get past the initial. So if possibly if your PPC is running, or if you've got some, like you've got a list that you're working and they're going in, they're buying, they want to get, your product. If you've got brand ambassadors, whatever it is, if you can start to move that product, it doesn't take long before you can get, 750, 1,000 units. It's not Brandon, you nailed it. It's not what we want in stock for Black Friday. But if we would have done, like for us, if we would have done this earlier, we would have probably been able to prove ourselves fairly quickly.
Liran, Brandon, anything else you want to add before we go?
Let's just ask this guy's answer this guy's
Yes,
question.
sorry, that's true.
20,
yeah, Alan.
I think it's 26, right? 26 pallets in a truckload. Does that sound about right?
46 stacked tall.
If you stack them up.
Yeah, it's just over 20, 22 or 23 or 20. Like between, it depends. Yeah, it's over 20 pallets in a truck if you don't stack.
Right. I believe it's 46 tall stack.
Okay.
But I do want to add something that a lot of people might not be doing, and that's the Amazon pre-sell. So, going out there, and you might have a Black Friday deal, but, you can advertise on Facebook, drive people over to your listing, or drive people over to a landing page, drive them over to your brand feed page, do whatever, but you can drive people over from primarily Facebook, showing that you're doing something, or you even might have something better to offer before Black Friday if they take advantage of it now. It's a 24-hour sale, something like that. That's one of the things that we're looking at. What was the other one? This is kind of cool. We start to put our Amazon posts as holiday posts. So people see that it's a great Christmas, product where you have the product in a stocking. You're allowed to do that, no problem. Even in your listings, you can change some of the images. And I'm not talking about your main image. Some people do. I see it all the time where you put a big bow on it or something. But in your secondary images, you can show that it's a great, holiday gift, something along those lines. So those are a few things that you can do to just kind of trigger somebody. Yeah. Oh, hey, your soap is perfect for a stocking stuffer.
Yeah, we've been adding some holiday and Christmas present images into our A+. And if you have good packaging, like really nice packaging that's giftable packaging, that's something to definitely showcase, like in your second image. That helps a lot too.
Liran?
Yeah, no, along those same lines, think about your copy on sponsor brand headline ads, sponsored display ads that can now have copy. The good thing now is you can edit your creative. In the past, you couldn't edit. You had to copy over and do new ads. Now you can edit your existing creative on sponsored ads. Change it to.
You can kind of A/B test, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can run it. I mean, you can run it with gift related. You can either copy it, and then run it against your existing one, or you could just edit the creative, change the copy to something gift related if it makes sense, and then change it back after. I would also put a tremendous emphasis right now in general on Amazon Storefront. You guys probably have seen randomly you see on pages this giant block of pages that go to people's storefronts, and I spoke to an Amazon ad rep this week and told me Amazon's putting a lot more focus on the storefront. So I would say if you have been registered and you don't have a storefront, you should build it. People
you have to pay for that because we've seen it on ours. You don't have to pay extra for any type of ad.
That big placement.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I mean, that big placement is free. So, but you can also run direct ads to storefront. If you run ads to storefront, you can get sponsored brand placement on people's pages that you don't get if you're not driving to storefront. And Amazon's just going to put a bigger emphasis on storefront. So I would say if you have a shitty storefront or if you don't have one, you should, even if you don't do it today, but think about for 2021, really upping your game because Amazon knows people spend higher amount. There's a bigger average order value when somebody visits your storefront. So more sales and it's better for brands.
So let me ask you, Liran, how much success do you have with creating a bunch of new campaigns that have present gift, holiday gift, present for a 4-year-old boy? Do you go in and sweep in and just make a bunch of generic keywords, keyword campaigns like that for?
Yeah, we create separate campaigns specifically for gift related keywords. What I see generally is you can get some incremental sales, but generally to me they don't convert as well as so okay, I have a customer that sells massage guns, right? So we're targeting gift related keywords, but think about it. Okay, gifts for athlete, right? Okay, you think, okay, good targeted keyword, but is that person looking to spend, $150? Maybe not, right? Gift for athlete, they don't know what they want. They're looking for something. There's so many choices, right? So I would say it sounds great to say, go target a bunch of gift related keywords, and you should, but test it at small budgets and because you likely are not going to see the same conversions as somebody just searching for massage gun, right? So you should target if your product makes sense. Yeah, gifts. I would say if you can rank organically for that, and not pay for that and make a rank push or whatever, you're gonna, you'll be better off. But I would create a separate campaign and start with a low budget just to see if those gift related keywords work for you in your niche and your product. And it might work better on a $20 impulse buy product than on a $70 $70.
So let me ask you there as well. Do you see when you run those ads and you're having trouble getting impressions because there's indexing issues, do you recommend that people go into the back end and put these keywords in their back end? Or because I know that sometimes if you use gift or present or best, within your listing, you can suppress your listing and you can have issues.
Right.
So how do you recommend that they get that indexing?
I think the word best is one of those sort of trigger words that you shouldn't be using, but I haven't seen gift necessarily be an issue, but we won't necessarily get impressions for all the keywords. And if you can have it in your back end or your listing, do it. I would say it's one of these things put in what I recommend on the gift keywords is do gift plus niche, right? For the most part, if it's a fitness product, gifts for athletes. If it's a toy product, gifts for 3-year-old girls or whatever, right?
Whatever your target market is. Yeah.
Whatever your target market is, just general kind of gift is going to be super broad, and you may not get impressions for it. So again, it sounds like a great idea. It can work to get you some incremental sales. I know that I know certain people like sellers have done very well ranking organically for gift related keywords in their niche, especially, you know, I had a friend that sells you know, a fruit infuser water bottle, right? Like super competitive. The way she won in that industry is by gifts for moms, like, and being able to rank for like all those keywords that were much harder to rank for than like what, you know, fruit infuser. So I think there's a good sort of opportunity, but probably more so year round on, you know, organic rank, and right now testing it. There will be a lot more. You know, if you look at brand analytics, I compared it to, you know, like October, November, and then December of last year, looking at brand analytics on these gift keywords, and like there's a massive amount of like increase in like search frequency. So
yeah, it does go way up. One more thing to add to this, and I don't mean to hijack the show.
Yeah.
No, you far away. It's fine.
I do want to add to the generic keyword thing. It's a great way to conquer a niche, and it's something. There's two pitfalls there that you guys have to be careful of when you're first launching and you're targeting like gift for 3-year-old boy, right? Like that type of keyword is going to have a massive amount of different types of products. They're shoppers. There's going to be a lot of clicks. Your conversion rate's going to be lower, and Amazon knows that it's a very generic keyword, so it's very difficult to create that relevancy for that keyword, because Amazon doesn't know that your product really fits that, because there are a wide range of products and you don't necessarily want to be tied to a product that's not similar. So you have to still target a lot of your niche specific and very relevant keywords while targeting some of those other keywords at launch. And those launches for the generic keywords are going to take longer. It's going to take you 7, 10, 14 days to really work your way up, versus like you can be ranked top 10 in 3 days if you do your launch correctly for your niche specific keywords. So it's a much longer road, and you have to be consistent with it over a longer period of time. And so the pitfall that I'll find is that people will only want to target those and not understand that it's going to take longer, and they think and their launch fails. The other part of that is that when comparing what your sales might be and like trying to figure out how many units to order, and looking at your top 10 or 20 competitors, there are competitors who are absolutely selling 3, 4, 5 times as many units as the rest of the competitors, because they're ranked for these very high search volume generic keywords that you don't realistically have a chance to rank for very quickly. It takes time to build your way up to there, and you should probably expect not to rank for them at all. So what you need to do is when you're comparing like your analysis and you're looking at your data, you should probably back those generic keywords out of those competitors' ranks and sales volume, so you can have a more realistic expectation as to what you can realistically achieve as far as sales volume and keywords and things like that.
And Brandon, what would you say is a good way to do that? Look at like search volume of that keyword, estimate X% conversion like at the top, and figure like,
yeah, the conversion's going to be lower. That's kind of what we do. We just look at the search volume, where they're ranked, try to give it a weight, and then kind of just back out. But you also need to look at what other keywords they're ranked on comparative to the other competitors. So like it's more of a art than a science, because you'll see like the same competitor that's ranked for like the other 3 best sellers. Like of the 4 best sellers, you got one guy that's just crushing it, and he has like double the sales. If you look at the top 30 keywords or 50 keywords that they're ranked in the top, like anything more than 500 search volume that they're ranked in the top 20 or 30, and if they're similar between those 4 sellers, but the sales are double, then you can kind of infer that half the sales are coming from that generic keyword that they're ranked for. But so you just kind of have to look at where are all of the sales coming from, and then, you know, try to back it out that way. It's not like a direct percentage. Some things are going to convert worse than others. Some, you know, and search volumes matter, and time of year and all that. It's a little bit more difficult, but you can get there.
And, you know, based on what I've seen, it's really like really 80-20 with keywords. Like your top 20% keywords, like there's like 3 or 4 keywords that drive. I mean, I've seen some of these like ASIN reports, right? From like, I've never purchased one, but I've seen them.
You've seen them. You heard about them.
I've heard about
you know what they look like.
These things. And you see like one keyword's like 70% of sales, you know, like on a product, which is like, it's definitely surprising for me to see.
One
like,
horse race, yeah.
Those kind of
numbers. So the way we approach that is that like we win by going wider, but we're not expecting the more sales. Like it's like one sale every 3 or 4 days for some of these long tail keywords. But when you have 100 of those, it adds to more sales, which
Compounded effect.
is the rank for the better keywords. It's more of like stability and helps you stay higher on the relevant keywords that are driving most of your sales, because it keeps that conversion higher and it keeps the number of units and the sales volume higher, so that you have more ranking juice than your competition.
One of the
It's still important to go wide.
Yeah, go on, Norm. You're next, and then I need to ask you boys live for a favor in a minute. Norm, go on, you go.
Okay, so one of the things that we do as well, if you're going after those, like we build these silos out of different, we call them primary long tails, so natural bully sticks, organic bully sticks. If we want to rank for them, well, one of the things that we do first of all is rank for the brand, and like, so it would be, I don't know, not best, but XYZ bully stick. And what you'll find that you'll start to be able to rank very quickly with XYZ bully stick or XYZ natural bully stick for primaries. Once you get onto page one, and this is more for the brand ambassador or influencer or rebate style marketing or press release marketing, you remove that, and then you'll start to see that these long tail keywords will start to rank very quickly, bringing up the primary, which is kind of like, I know you guys talk a lot about PPC. We use PPC, but on the launch side that we use is we also use either, that other strategy that driving other types of external traffic in. And we find that building up that brand with the primary long tail really gets some great results once you start to rank for it. The other thing that is so bloody easy, too late now, but for holidays, if you're not using gift guides, you are leaving so much money on the table. It's crazy. So gift guides is something that you definitely want to check out. You could do it yourself. I know for us, I mean, we've looked at, there's about 2,500 in our registry that we look through.
No, do you help people get into those gift guides?
Yeah, we can. Absolutely. Yeah. But, we can also, I mean, I could tell you it's very easy to go out and find them, look for whatever gift guide in your niche. But if you do need help, yeah, absolutely. We can help.
And is it always a pay for inclusion kind of a play?
Yes and no. Sometimes you have to send the product over, and if it's the bigger ones, yeah, sometimes you got to pay.
How do you evaluate, right? You go Google, you see these blogs, you see these gift guides. Like, how do you evaluate? Like, what is this placement worth in Mary's mom's blog, holiday gift guide?
Last question, Liran. I've been trying to close the show for 10 minutes and be very polite.
Last make this a 2-hour show today, Danny? Yeah. Like, why do you always have to stop at an hour? It's really annoying.
Do you want to carry on going? I thought you got a business to run.
Look at him. He doesn't have time to shower.
You've only got 14 launches this week. You got all time on your hands. Yeah. No, sorry, Liam. Go on. You finish off.
They're going to make me a lot of money, Danny. Don't cut them off, okay?
Yeah. No, let's say I'm going to go do this, right? I'm going to Google, like, maybe I'm selling in a particular niche, or I'm going to Google, like, top holiday gift guides. I'm going to do, like, have a VA do outreach. I mean, probably too late now, right, to get into, like, holiday gift guide. But if I'm going to do this strategy, like, how do I evaluate, like, what's the value? Like, should I pay $1,000 for this placement? Should I pay $100? Should I pay $5,000? Like, how do I value what it's going to bring?
It depends on if you're going to a gift guide. If you're going through somebody who's going to be a micro or macro, or sorry, a nano and micro influencer, so anybody under 100,000, that's a whole different ball game than Better Homes or Wirecutter, or even getting onto like a Rachel Ray gift guide. Mm-hmm. It's hard. There is no measurement. You can't pixel it. You don't know. Right. What type of engagement you're going to get, but you will see that if they're promoting it. I'll give you one quick example, then we're off. Wirecutter, if you can get into Wirecutter, we do this with a product. It's very good. It's a great selling product, but 4 times a year, we'll see it spike $100,000 over a 2-week period, 100,000 more sales. We go to Wirecutter, we're there. They're promoting, they're doing a promotion on the product. It could be big. And if you're looking for gift guides right now, look for them going into Valentine's Day or Mother's Day. And I'm telling you, nobody's doing it. And awesome. It's a great way to promote your product.
Let me ask you, Norm, how do you do inventory? Right? Because I can't keep.
Oh, and one last thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have enough inventory to get through Q4 as it is probably. And then if I was in a gift guide, I have a few products in gift guides and I know I'm going to run out. But like, how early do you know? And then how do we properly try to evaluate the extra spike in inventory? It's like, I'm already sending 3 containers of this one SKU. Do I have to send 6 containers? Like how it'd be really difficult to try to figure that out, I think.
It is hard to figure it out, but let's say it's the product I was just telling you where you see 100,000 spike. Hopefully you've got product in your 3PL to send over, which if this is going to keep your rank, I would either airship it or high-speed vessel it because it's already over in your 3PL in China, and get it over as quick as possible so you can maintain your rank. But it's really tough. The only way that you can really make sure that you've got to go through a cycle. And once you can see that cycle, like with us, those 4 times a year with Wirecutter, we know that we've got to be careful with inventory and we've got to be stacked.
I have one more question. No, I'm just kidding.
Danny's going to fall off his chair. He gets up a half hour before he goes to bed.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I've got a favor to ask you guys. Some of you may have seen it already. On Tuesday, I mentioned.
I'm not voting for you in seller poll, Danny.
Huh? No. It's nothing to do with seller poll. Right. This is a serious subject, right?
Okay.
So we've seen with COVID, people's mental health and stuff, suicide rates are up. I think 100, 200, I can't remember exactly, but they're up, which is not a good thing. So I got together, we've got Mina Elias on, we've got Sean Smith, Yana's involved, Erin Graybill, Kim Ford, Steph Kalik, Rich Hawkins, some people you may not know, but they're from the community, Casey Goss, Kian Gulzari, there's a few of us. So what it is hashtag movement is medicine. And what we're doing is posting, all I'm asking, get people moving, 15-second clip of working out, okay? Do 15 minutes a day, then tag me and then I'll share it across the story. So we're trying to get as many people for mental health moving as possible.
Does Brandon loading his container count?
Yes, it's still exercise, right? Yeah. And I need to see you on that Peloton. I haven't seen any posts from you for a while.
Yeah, so we're gonna order one of those.
I'm doing this. I'm doing this as accountability. Will you join us, helping other members of the community as influencers, as people have said in the comments, to help get people going? And Brandon, I've seen you outrun an athlete. So before you say anything else, I know you can run.
I'm slow. I'm fat. I need a head start.
Well, do you remember that you posted on Facebook a little while ago? You'd done a bet with someone and then you cheated him and then run past him. And then what was it, $500 bet?
It's 1,000.
It was 1,000. So you can still be sneaky. So yeah, 15-second clip. Post it. Just tag me at DannyMac1000. You haven't got to post my stories or the others. I'll post everyone's stories. It's just basically trying to get people moving in Q4. You need to be
happy to share it and be involved. Yeah.
Thank you. And the thing is, everyone needs to be in a top tip condition for Q4. So like all I'm saying, 15 minutes a day, just get the endorphins going. Right. Norm is going to be on the other channel in 7 minutes time. Where are we sending the traffic, Norm? Give him a shout out.
So this one, I know this guy is going to be out there today, but Lunch with Norm is tomorrow, Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays at noon Eastern Standard Time.
Excellent. And where do they subscribe?
And they can subscribe on YouTube, just under Norm Farar. They can see it there, or they can go over to two podcasts, lunchwithnorm.com, and you'll be able to subscribe to the podcast there and subscribe to a newsletter if you like.
Cool. Liran, subscribe to your podcast and promote your PPC services.
Yes, and I'll say in half an hour I'll be. There's a link on my wall. I think I'm doing something with Baruch School of Business on like the with Yael Kabili on like the behind the scenes of like Amazon brawls and issues with Amazon and stuff. So should be interesting to blow people's minds with like what happens behind the scenes at Amazon. So should be kind of fun. Incremental Digital is the website. We also started to recently. I'm not really promoting this because I don't really have bandwidth to take on more, but we started recently doing like full brand management for about 5 or 6 brands. So that's kind of super fun and exciting when you can kind of influence we have PPC clients and we tell them like, hey, you need A+, you need video, you need this, you need that, but they don't always take action on it. And so when you can kind of have a big picture of pulling all the levers, it's kind of like it's a lot more fun to see what you can do. So that's exciting. And PPC management, Incremental Digital, and the podcast is e-commerce mindset.
Sounds good. Brandon, courses, etc.
seller-systems.com/masterclass2 is the newest masterclass. I've got the full college level course that comes with the Inner Circle Mastermind. That's seller-systems.com/inner circle. You can find my Facebook group, Seller Systems Succeeding on Amazon FBA. I will have a Black Friday sale, Cyber Monday sale coming up for the Inner Circle. So stay tuned for that. And if you guys wanted a discount on the masterclass, use the code TAXES. Save some money on some taxes.
Brandon, when I talk to the college students, I can tell them they're better off dropping out and they go buy your college course, and they'll make more money.
It's far more likely.
Gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. Don't forget, Isabella is back here on Monday, Inspired with Bell. Her guest on Monday is Derek James. I'll be back here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Take care of your family. Look after yourself. Look after your mental health. We're out of here.